humoring her. Okay, what's your name?
Brenda Irvin.
Rhonda.
Brenda.
Rhonda.
Brenda.
Brenda.
Yeah.
Oh.
Irvin.
Irvin.
In Troy.
In Troy.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you for calling long distance. We appreciate that, of course.
Yes.
From Troy, Greece. No. Mildly amusing?
Yes.
Well, then start laughing, would you? Okay, I wanted to get this thing with the Quasimodo cleared up. Now, I asked if the girl ran away with Phoebus, but he didn't. She didn't, because he wasn't around, right? Because that was the guy who got killed by the evil brother of the Archbishop, whatever his name was.
Yeah.
Because Phoebus loved the girl, and the evil brother of the Archbishop, she awoke a dormant. She had awakened a dormant lust within him. And he was bummed, and so he wanted her. And if he couldn't have her, no one else could. So she couldn't have gone away with Phoebus unless she was a necrophiliac, right?
Right.
So there you go.
Yep.
Thank you for telling us that. I appreciate it.
Okay, thanks.
And everything else, we got all the other information on the story, right?
Yeah, I think so. From
Okay.
what I heard.
Yeah. Of course, I missed the end of the Hunchback of Notre Dame yesterday, and I wanted to...
Well, he was hanging on a statue like that other guy said, and he was sitting there, and he said, why can't I be made of stone like thee? And
Right.
it ended.
Right, that's kind of sad.
Yeah.
Huh.
But that's what was supposed to happen. Everyone was supposed to feel bad for the hunchback because everyone thought he was bad, and actually he was good.
He was the nicest guy there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But people just didn't like him because he was ugly.
Yeah, he knew what was going on.
And the Beauty and the Beast.
Yep.
Oh, wow, man. Thank you, lass. Thank you. Brenda? Rhonda?
Brenda.
Brenda, I know. Okay.
Bye.
Bye. All right, well, I guess we're all squared away in that. You know what the funniest thing is about Bill Kennedy? He never knows the answers to any of the questions. You ever notice that? Every time I watch him, we'll take questions and phone calls. And he takes phone calls, he doesn't know the answer, and he's always real patronizing and real jive with the people on the phone here. And okay, thank you. Can't wait to hang up on him. What's your hurry? And then he answers questions that he's had, like, I would imagine, I believe that they taped the Sunday show. I believe they taped the phone calls during the week. And then the questions, I don't know, maybe they might do it live Sunday, because yesterday a lot of the questions pertain to the movie. But however they do it, he must have at least 5 or 10 minutes to look up the answer. But he always reads the questions and goes, I don't know. What's the point of doing it? Yeah, or he asks somebody off camera all the time. Do you know? And they always know. But he acts like he knows so much about it, and he doesn't know anything, hardly. You know? I mean, he knows, I guess, a few things about the movie business, but he doesn't know a lot about it, because usually people have to call in and tell him. What a wacky concept. Okay, now we'll have people call and ask questions that I don't know the answers to. You know? But he hangs in there. People still love him. On westbound I-94 at the Chrysler Freeway, there's an accident also on the southbound lodge near Claremont. There's a stalled car, so we'll watch out for those two trouble spots. This is W4 in the Motor City. Steve Dahl and Company featuring the Moody Blues this morning. We'll have some more for you in a couple of minutes. And right after we take care of some business, here's some ELO from Out of the Blue.
All for one, one for all. Omni's one that does it all. Lots of talent, lots of fun. Omni does it all for one. Totes the tots, gets night spots, carries plants and visitants, lights antiques, climbs the peaks, playing ball, it does it all.
5 doors, front-wheel drive, a wonderfully smooth ride, real comfort, lots of options, and Motor Trend magazine has named it Car of the Year. The new Dodge Omni. It does it all.
All for one for all. Omni's one that does it all. Lots of talent, lots of fun. Omni does it all for one. Dodge has put it all together. Omni does it all. The new Dodge Omni does it all.
that true?
Yeah, that's right, Steve. That's how they do it.
Sparky's got a friend that's an engineer over at Channel 50.
Yeah, what they do, Steve, is they tape it during the week. He don't come in on Sundays. You know, he ain't into that. Heck, he don't need to.
Right.
And so that's why you ever notice how the pictures come on right as the person asks the question?
Yeah, I always saw it. They had somebody there with lightning-fast fingers that could go through the files and come up with a picture.
Heck no, they got 3 or 4 days to do that. So actually, he has plenty of time to answer the questions, you know, because a lot of the questions he asks are questions he made up himself.
Well, like yesterday they were talking about the Hunchback of Notre Dame and stuff.
Exactly, Steve, so he's even looser than you think.
I see. All right, well, thanks.
My pleasure, Steve. Electronics, radio, TV, that's my business.
Don't mind saying, this is W4 in the Motor City, and music is our business. At 6:51.
You're gonna make me puke.
Me too. This is ELO, Night in the City. W4 with the Sanford Townsend Band. And Smoke from a Distant Fire. It's 2 minutes before 7. WWWW in Detroit. Steve Dahl and Company with you here. The Rude Awakening for Monday morning.
I am very macho. You can tell because of the hair between my eyebrows. I've been asked to do this commercial for the Token Lounge in Westland, appearing all this week. The rock and roll madness of Randy Reed, Nightcrawler.
For a great evening of rock and roll, drop by the Token Lounge with special guest Randy Reed and Nightcrawler all week long. With 2 bars, plenty of dance floor, and a hassle-free environment, the Token Lounge, 1/4 mile east of Middlebelt on Joy Road in Westland.
Yeah. Comprehensive Youth Services offers free legal aid to Macomb County residents. Just wondering if they have fine Corinthian leather on the seats.
I don't know.
I don't know either. I've been using Macho soap on a rope. Steve, I use that too. Love the shape. Right. I've been using Macho soap on a rope, you know, hoping some of it will rub off. But so far, I still don't have any hair on my chest. Oh, well. C'est la vie.
La vie.
I wonder if I'm ever going to get any. I really don't have any on my chest. I mean, I don't know. I don't suppose it matters. You know, I've always done okay with the gals, and Janet Planet says, hey, it's part of your boyish charm, but I always feel funny, you know, playing racquetball and stuff in the sun. Everybody's covered with hair, and I'm just sitting there like a little 12-year-old kid, you know. I mean, I do have, you know, some body hair. I mean, I have facial hair and you-know-what hair, but not on my chest. Although it's sort of starting to creep up. It's at my belly button now, so maybe in the not-too-distant future I'll be covered. If you catch my drift, pun intended. Comprehensive youth...
Can't.
Leroy boy, is that you? I thought your post-hanging days were through. Get me 1, 2.
W4 with Todd Rundgren, one of the more outspoken people as far as the Equal Rights Amendment goes. Todd, of course, a staunch supporter of women's lib. They may be stupid, but they sure are fun. Well, I don't necessarily agree with the lyric, but I still like the melody. You know what I mean? It's a catchy little ditty. 12 minutes after 7 o'clock, W4 with Steve Dahl and Company. And speaking of catchy little ditties, it's time now for news with Steve Monkevich. Scoop Monkevich.
Yes.
Good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Too early to tell,
Boy,
and
you know,
too
one
soon
day,
to admit. You know
one
what
day
I
I
mean?
wish you'd come in here feeling good. You know, and the whole time you've been working here, every day I ask you how you're doing, you're like, I don't know.
No, I just say it's too early to tell. I haven't had the opportunity to have my 3 or 4 cups of coffee yet.
Yeah, that's true. I came in
Which is
here.
a euphemism for the stuff that we drink here.
I came in here a little bit sleepy this morning, too, so I guess I shouldn't jump on you. But, we certainly hope you're going to have a good day. Hey, if you keep it on the big 106, we'll try to make that day bright and shiny, even though it's a little bit cloudy outside. Don't mind saying right now it's 13 minutes after. Sorry. I lapsed back into it again.
After 3 cups of coffee, if you've had any top 40 experience at all.
You can't help it.
That's it, exactly. You're just ready to do it at a drop of a hat, son.
Or taking diet pills, same thing will happen around the house because I am on a diet right now. Trying to slenderize my act a little bit, I'll take a diet pill and sit around the house and talk up records, talk up theme songs on TV and stuff.
Yeah, sometimes that happens, especially if you've had any of it. Have you ever done that in the car?
Yeah.
You punch dials around and you hit the stations with that.
And you start talking like a disc jockey, and the people always look at you and go, All right, Steve.
Just a bit crazed, yeah. I do that many times in the car. At least I have more in the past when I was working as a disc jerky type person there,
Well, now you do news, right?
Yes, that's
whenever
right.
a record ends, you go, and here's news.
Constantly, first thing somebody comes up to me and says, "Hi, Steve, how you doing?" I say, "It's cloudy and 36 out there."
You know what? A lot of people don't know this, but most disc jockeys that you hear today, even the hip, progressive subculture ones like us, started out in top 40 because that's just sort of the way the business works. And now, I personally never enjoyed the music, Hey, here's Bo Donaldson and the Haywoods, and Billy, don't be a hero, But I always called him Donald Duck and the Hemorrhoids anyway, and got fired for it once, as a matter of fact. But the only thing that kept me sane when I was doing top 40 was the mechanics of it, trying to talk over how top 40 disc jockeys talk over the beginning of records, if it's an 8-second intro on the record, okay, there's 8 seconds of music, trying to talk that 8 seconds and stop right before they sing. And it's fun to do that. I don't know, maybe people out there can't relate to it. I know radio people can, but I always used to do that, and get off on that. I used to be pretty good at it. So I still do it in the car whenever 2 records start on, and Janet looks at me. Would you stop it, please? I'm sorry. So that's what we're talking about out there in non-radio land, so you understand what we're talking about. But the mechanics, that was the only part that kept me sane. I don't know about you. But.
Oh, yeah, no question about it. That was the challenge, to come in there and see how much you could say in that little short period of time.
So people that hate it, people go, top 40 disc jockeys talk so much, it's so jive, they talk over the beginnings of records. The only reason they do it is because that's the only thing you can do.
That's the only time you can talk, yeah.
Yeah, and keep sane.
I knew guys that were so into it, believe it or not, they used to time out the music intros on commercials.
Yeah.
Oh, geez, I got 2.5 seconds on this one.
Yeah.
Oh, well, far out.
Yeah, you go into McDonald's Commercial, you go, you got like 2 seconds, the intro go, do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. You just say, hey, baby, let's have a cheeseburger at McDonald's.
It was absolutely amazing.
Pretty sick.
It was a lot of fun, though. Doing that part of it, because you used to get so crazy when you finished talking and they were like, the singers or whatever were right there.
Yeah.
You used to go, boy, pretty good, huh?
At my control, at my beck and call. All right, well, what's happening here, news-wise?
Okay, W4 News Magazine.
Or did we already do the news? No, we didn't yet. Okay, go ahead.
No, we've given our editorial portion of the news. W4 News Magazine headlines. Lean and tight, taking it to the skies, the PSC giving it all away, and the pollution-free car. Now here's more from that front page. Well, last week in the State of the Union message, the President let Congress hear all about his budget for this year. But today he's going to give them a chance to look at it on paper. Carter calls it lean and tight, but able to meet the nation's needs. And even though it's bigger than this previous year's, it still calls for a $25 billion tax cut. That's what you call, again, the give a little, take a little approach to politics. Soviets have made it just a bit easier to stay up in space. Over the weekend, the Russians took up supplies to an unmanned space center 750 miles above the Earth. That link-up made it possible to stay out in space for extremely long periods of time. And you can't say for certain, but if the Public Service Commission's past record is any indication at all, then they're going to give away millions of our money to state utilities today. You see, Ma Bell has been asking for another $33 million to pay for wage hikes for its workers over the summer. And Consumer Power wants an extra $54 million for its phony gas plant in Marysville. Now, the problem with the PSC is, in the past, Republican members have more often than not supported price hikes. Democrats haven't. And right now, the 3-member PSC has 2 Republicans and just 1 Democrat on it. so you can figure the rest for yourself. And for a short time now, GM's been screaming that their new three-way catalytic converter, that they could have been on the verge of having a nearly pollution-free car in the very near future. But spokesman for the EPA says, in effect, that's really no big deal because they still are going to be pushing out too many pollutants for cities the likes of New York and L.A., and basically the EPA are not too excited about the whole thing. Turning the page now on the W4 News magazine. A lady in Virginia has sued the Coca-Cola folks, you know, the ones that make Minute Maid orange juice, for $150,000 because, she says, they packed a dead mouse in her can of frozen OJ.
Who told the mouse that that's where the cheese is?
Lois Ann Hollis said that she didn't even see the gray mouse when she mixed up the batch of the stuff, but she did feel a little sick after drinking some. And she felt a whole lot worse when she saw the frozen mouse at the bottom of the pitcher. And now, on the People page of the W4 News magazine, Larry Flint, the founder of Hustler magazine, continues to expand his publishing empire. Flint has most recently published the Atlanta Gazette. It's an alternative newspaper in Georgia. He's hired State Senator Julian Bond as a contributing editor. In the past 6 weeks or so, Flint has moved Hustler magazine to L.A., has also purchased the Los Angeles Free Press and a weekly newspaper in Plains, Georgia, and he also plans to revive Paul Krasner's Realist magazine. And now the W4 News feature interview starts up with Ted Howard. He's a gentleman who's written a book along with Ted or Jeremy Rifkin called Who Should Play God? It's a story about DNA experimentation. He kind of sets some of the tempo in this first segment of the interview.
The book is about a new field of science and technology called genetic engineering. It's really not about science. I'm not a scientist myself, so I don't want to scare people away by thinking I'm going to mau them with a lot of jargon they can't figure out. It's really about the implications of the fact that within our lifetime we will develop, and we are quickly developing, the ability to perform genetic changes on life on this planet. In other words, we are moving into an era like Aldous Huxley's Brave New World, where we will be able to artificially create life in the laboratory.
And we're already doing that with teeny tiny bacteria. And Ted says test tube babies are 10 years away, and cloning, or the making of carbon copies of yourself, is 15 years away.
And what Who Should Play God looks at is who's going to control this technology. What are the implications about this field of science that many people say is as powerful as the splitting of the atom was in the 30s?
And we'll be continuing that interview with Ted Howard about the book called Who Should Play God? Story of DNA Experimentation. And we'll talk about what's going on in that regard in A Squared next hour. On the sports page, the Pistons lost to New Orleans yesterday, 100-97. U of M will play Ohio State tonight, and the Wings beat the Capitals yesterday, 6-3. And on the back page, you've heard of workman's compensation insurance for us human beings, of course. But how about some of that insurance for elephants? You see, elephants on the island nation of Sri Lanka perform such traditional tasks, such as hauling lumber and transporting tree trunks from jungle clearings to waiting trucks, all for wages that amount to about $6 a day. And in an effort to protect their investments, the owners of the elephants have drawn up a government-approved insurance plan for their pachyderms, which insure the owners, not the elephants, against the time when the beasts of burden become too ill or too old to perform their jobs. Man's greed taken to the ultimate.
I guess you could say they finally decided they've been working for peanuts too long, huh?
They pack up their trunk, that's right. W forecast this hour, warmer and windier today, and Steve and I are doing a lot to help that out. High of 30. Right now, believe it or not, it's only 9 degrees out there.
Speak for yourself, oh tropical storm. It's 22 minutes after 7. This is W4 in Motor City. Steve Dahl and Company featuring the Moody Blues this morning. 4 with Queen, and we are the champions. 29 minutes after 7 o'clock. A very good Monday morning to you. How you doing this morning, huh? Ooh, it's chilly outside this morning. It's been colder. I mean, we've had colder days, you know. I mean,